What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and if you saw over on the Dungeons & Dragons Twitter page, they are revealing aspects of Asteria, the main character from the Book of Many Things, the front cover paladin, much of her stat block throughout the course of today, additional information about the character, backstory, and things like that. So we're going to go ahead and head over to Twitter. So you can see this here. There's sort of a blanked out version of the stat block. And the first version of it here was revealed, which kind of shows sort of the, what I would call the left part of the stat block, which is usually like ability scores, skills, resistances, and so on. You can see here she's challenge rating 18. You can see her charisma modifier looks like it's being added into all of her saving throws, as she is a human paladin here. She's got winged boots, immunity to poison, and then charm, exhausted, frightened, and the poisoned condition. She has a guardian aura, which allows her, whenever somebody within 30 feet of her makes a saving throw, she can give them advantage on that saving throw as no action, which is interesting. Normally, paladin auras just provide you a persistent buff to all allies. This allows her to pick and choose, but it also doesn't use her reaction, which is nice. She gets 3 legendary resistances per day. And she wears winged boots, which we saw the fly speed there contained in her speed section, and then has one half of a pair of sending stones, the other one handled by Uriel, the Medusa druid, who is basically like her found family / sister. If we scroll down in the comments, more may have been unlocked as I continue to go through this. There is a whole article over on D&D Beyond that talks a lot about the design history behind Asteria, her backstory, and a little bit like that. You guys can go check that out for yourself. I'll put a link in the description. But again, forewarning, if you don't want to know too much about the backstory and like the history of your Asteria as a character, that will potentially spoil some of that will be contained in the Book of Many Things. But who knows? You might be waiting longer to get it if you're waiting on a physical copy. As we know, there are the delays. It also goes into a lot of the backstory that Mackenzie DeArmas, the designer, who went into crafting Asteria, goes a lot into the design process behind Asteria and kind of the what informed the decision to make her, make Asteria the way that she is. This has been covered in the past. I talked about it a little bit in the Gen Con video that I did. It was mentioned in the deep dive video that we did as well. So it was kind of just a more in-depth decision with specific questions, talking to Mackenzie about what it went into designing Asteria, the first canonically autistic character in Dungeons & Dragons. So we now have the next part of her stat block here, which kind of goes over her attack section. So we can see here she does have multi-attack. She makes 2 attacks with her Radiant Blade and uses Bursting Benediction. Remind you, those 2 attacks and Bursting Benediction every turn, which is pretty nuts when you see what they can do, right? So the Radiant Blade is a long sword here from the looks of it, does a d8 plus 5 slashing damage, plus an additional 3d8 radiant damage. That's on every hit. And then again, Bursting Benediction every turn. She causes a burst of magical energy to envelop one creature within 60 feet of her. They must make a DC 19 dexterity saving throw or take 9d8 force damage on a failed save, half on a success. And then either Asteria or another creature of her choice within 60 feet regains 10 hit points. So that's every turn she could do those 2 walloping hits with the Radiant Blade, and then also Bursting Benediction to do some serious single target damage, but then also provide a little bit of healing. It also is healing, so if somebody is down and unconscious, Bursting Benediction will also bring them back up, which is pretty cool. And then she has some spell casting here based off of her charisma with a spell save DC of 19. At-will cantrips here are Guidance, Light, and Thaumaturgy, and then twice per day, Bless, Freedom of Movement, Greater Restoration, Plane Shift on herself only, Protection from Evil and Good, and Revivify, very paladin kind of spells there. So we'll go ahead and just hit refresh and see if anything more was revealed officially here. It does not appear that is the case. However, as of me recording this, I actually have seen the entire stat block, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what's going to come out, but obviously you won't see this video until the entire stat block has been revealed from Wizards of the Coast. So we already saw the last thing that we kind of haven't seen is this, which is her bonus actions and her legendary actions, which you can see here. So we have bonus action options. I don't know what all these things are at the bottom of the screen here. But we have Bonus actions, Empowering Aegis, which recharges on a 4/6. Asteria summons a spectral version of her shield, which orbits and bolsters one creature of Asteria's choice that she can see within 60 feet of herself. The spectral shield lasts until the start of Asteria's next turn. While the shield is orbiting the creature has half cover, is immune to the frightened condition, and makes weapon attack rolls with advantage. That is pretty powerful. So half cover basically gives you a +2 to AC. So that's going to kind of refer to basically the shield, giving you the shield's bonus itself. It is only against one creature. She's obviously going to... it's a spectral version of her shield as well, so she's not actually losing her own shield bonus. She still maintains that. Immunity to the frightened condition provided as well, and again, just flat-out advantage on weapon attack rolls. That is a very powerful ability. And it recharges on a 4/6, which is a pretty large... This is one of the largest recharge mechanics we've seen. 4/6 is pretty big. And then again, 3 legendary actions per turn. Brazen Strike, which is she makes a Radiant Blade attack, which we already talked about, is pretty substantial given the fact that it does that extra radiant damage. Nimble Sprint, she can move up to her speed. It does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Or for 2, she can cast a spell from that limited pool of spells we had seen. So there you go, folks. That is the stat block reveal of Asteria, the new paladin character that was created and developed as part of the book/deck of many things release. Again, like I said, we've recorded the entirety of this here. Perhaps Wizards of the Coast will reveal more, but that's what they had sent over to me. Again, just hanging on to it till it officially releases. So anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions. She is a very powerful paladin character, definitely worthy of the challenge rating of 18 here. And I'm very curious to see what other stat blocks, because again, this is obviously a good character designed to kind of be the archetypical one for the book. But we know there's going to be some new monsters and things involved, so I'm very curious to see the power level of those new creatures as well. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, and I'll see you all next time.